So I know a lot of people are curious as to where I went for 3.5 months and why I wasn't posting, why I wasn't online. First off, I want to say thank you so much for the people who actually noticed and said something to me and messaged me and said that they missed my post. I really appreciate it. And I didn't even think that the amount of people that reached out would even noticed. So I do appreciate that and the fact that people actually care and care about my well-being enough to check in with me and make sure that I'm okay. So I'm going to be really candid and just be super honest as possible. And I'm going to post this and hopefully we can start a discussion in the comments and, people maybe who have felt similar can find this as a safe place where they can share their experience as well. But just starting off with obviously the whole COVID crisis, everybody kind of, went through ups and downs, and that was an emotional roller coaster. And it really just started to make me look at my friends and the people I'm surrounding myself with. And then Black Lives Matter, that whole thing, the whole shooting, George Floyd, and social media just went bananas between that. Everybody has an opinion, everybody has a comment to make, and this is America and everybody has their right to say something. But it made me look at people that I really considered friends and saw their points of view and the things that they were saying, and black versus white and mask versus no mask and COVID's real versus it's not real. And it was just beginning to be too fucking much. Liberal, Republican, this, that, we're being so divided, and the negative energy just fucking wore me the fuck down. I couldn't even scroll anymore. It was just making me sick. And I'm an empath, and for those of people who don't understand what that is, it's exactly where the root word is derived from, empathy. So I have so much empathy that I end up absorbing energy off of other people. So if you have a problem and you start telling me about it and I see your emotions, I physically end up retaining some of it. So you're releasing your energy and I'm kind of absorbing it. And I carry that around with me unknowingly. And it gets to a point where you gotta release it. And I just was experiencing so much negativity, and it just made me be like, fuck, like, what is this world? Like, what are we doing? Like, as you can see with the debate the other day, like, what is going on? Like, we have two fucking retards that are going to be the leader of the free world, and we got to do better. This virus shit, the Black Lives Matter shit, everything, like, we need to do better as human beings. And I just started getting in my head about it and like thinking like, wow, like every time I post or anybody posts, there's a motive, right? We've basically created with Instagram and all these other social media models an avatar of ourselves. So we show people the image we want to see, right? Our profile picture, and then we do a little bio, and we show you where we have dinner, and we show you who our friends are, and we show you where we work and who we're around and what we're doing. And everything is, I don't want to say fake, but it's just a small smidgen of what really goes on in people's lives. And they don't show you the bad, the ugly, the struggles, the bad parts of their day when there is no filter and no makeup and hair's fucked up. Everything now is so structured, and hair done, nails done, everything's organized and buttoned up and perfect, and the house is clean, and it's not real life. We're just projecting these images of what we want other people to know about us. We're basically feeding each other knowledge of what we want each other to know. And I realized I don't want you to know. I don't want you guys to know everything. I don't want you guys to know everything. I don't want the government to know anything either. Why do I have to post a picture of who I'm with, the location I'm at? Like, it just was too much. Like, down to the swab up your nose and giving the government your DNA that you're signing over for research purposes only. Who knows where that's really going? Okay, fine. But red light cameras and speeding tickets, they know where you're going, who you're with, your Uber account, we're feeding them information of where we are, who we're with at all times. And there's just a lot of surveillance, a lot of censorship. I'm just not like, I just felt like so disgusted and detached with everything going on. We're being monitored so much. We're monitoring each other. This one's posting, Gucci this and this car and that. And there's no substance. There's just no substance to what we're sharing and what we're placing values on. Nobody's talking about like, oh, I got a raise or a 401k or I just invested into this. And I'm sure some accounts that you follow do that, and that's great. But as far as on a friendship level, we're at this restaurant, we're drinking this bottle, we're wearing this label. It's just all so superficial and nothing that really matters in life. So that was starting to get to me. And when these protests and the riots broke out, I was just like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with social media anymore. I don't need people knowing what I'm doing, who I'm with, none of that. I just need a fucking break. And it happened at a good time too, because after that, I just felt so fucking off, energetically speaking. And I've been depressed before in my past. And it didn't feel like I was depressed. I didn't want to sleep in my bed all day. I wasn't fatigued. I wasn't tired. I wasn't suicidal, but there was something fucking wrong. I will tell you that. There was something wrong. And I just felt this heavy energy around me. And it was a lingering sadness that didn't want to go away. And I would say it peaked right around the 4th of July, which cosmically speaking was the peak of my Saturn return. And it was a lunar eclipse in Capricorn, which I'm a Capricorn, and Saturn returned. So therefore, Saturn is the Capricorn's ruling planet. Anyway, you guys probably don't all understand what I'm saying, but it was fucking heavy energy and like I couldn't fucking take it. Like literally on the 4th of July, I sat on the floor of my apartment with the lights off and just laid there and fucking meditated and prayed that things would start to feel better. Didn't even leave my house, didn't see a firework. I had literally been invited to a barbecue that I could have walked to and I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to move. So that was going on and I decided I needed to do something about it. And I have a lot of mentors in my life, thank God. And I reached out to a friend who does Reiki. Jenny Israel is a lifesaver. And I did 3 sessions with her. And I got my blood work done with Dr. Christine Blanche. And I started doing these other things to find out what's going on. Energetically speaking, physically speaking, mentally speaking, right? Because mental health is so important and that's what's going on. So I'm talking to my therapist every week, trying to figure out what's going on. I can't pinpoint it. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sad. I don't want to like hurt myself. I just didn't want to fucking be around people. I'm so disgusted with everyone. And then I had a trip planned to go to Joshua Tree and I was really excited about it. Airbnb, gonna make it a goddess trip, and there's literally a meteor shower in the middle of the desert at this point in time, in the middle of nowhere, no light pollution. I'm gonna do a vegan diet. I'm gonna cleanse. I'm gonna purify. I'm gonna go out there and do some medicinal medicine and, try and figure out what's going on in here. And I was going with a couple of girls. We had the trip paid for, all this stuff, and they backed out on me. And that really made me mad and started me looking at my other friendships too and realizing, when I decided to do the program where I was doing fitness in the parks and trying to organize that, it made me realize like who posted for me, who gave me a shout out. I have X number of followers and it's not the most amount of followers anybody's ever seen, but it's a decent amount. And people love when I shout them out. But some people I couldn't get a like or a repost or a comment on. And these people were my real friends. And I would start to say to some of my friends, I don't know, I'm not really doing too well. I don't know what's going on. And they weren't checking in on me. So it made me start to realize like who is like really there and really in my corner and has my back and supports me no matter whether I'm right in a situation, whether I'm wrong in the situation, whether I'm happy and jubilant, or if I'm down in the dumps. Who's really there for me? Who really supports me? And it made me question a lot of my friendships. And not only that, it made me realize, I don't want to say like who's using me, but like ulterior motives. And I wasn't posting things, obviously, but if I was around people, I didn't tell them not to post me. So people would post me and I would be in the background of things. And people would make assumptions based on that post and say, oh, you were doing this or you were doing that. You don't have the whole picture. You don't know what's going on. How about you ask me what's going on before you make assumptions? And they were wrong assumptions too. They were dead wrong assumptions. And so I started to realize that, wow, the people closest to me are judging me more than Abdul from the middle of Egypt. You know, he's showing more support than some of my friends that I've known for years. This is crazy. And I started questioning myself, you know, what's wrong with me, and judging myself, and starting to have self-esteem issues. Like, when I come back, should I do this? Should I post this? Or people are going to think this of me, or people are going to think that of me, or people are going to think I've gone crazy. And I really started to judge myself. And so I decided that, fuck it. I'm going to go on this trip by myself. I need it. I need to clear my mind. I need to fucking just go out there, be by myself. So I hopped on a plane. I traveled 5.5 hours to LAX. I got in a car. I drove another 3.5 hours to the middle of the desert by myself to a beautiful, gorgeous, fabulous Airbnb. I'm going to post pictures and videos of it. It was incredible and amazing. And I was literally in the middle of the desert by myself for 4 days. I paid for the whole thing on my own. And I journaled, I meditated, I did yoga. I had a mental break from everything going on. I just disconnected and unplugged from everything else and plugged into myself. And I did some ceremonies in the middle of the desert. And I'll tell you, I really just broke down and purged. And when I say I purged, I was literally hysterically crying in the middle of the desert. So my eyes were purging, my nose was purging, I was sobbing, like vocal sobs, but not over anything specific. There was nothing going on that triggered that. I wasn't overthinking. I wasn't in a thought pattern. There was nothing that got brought to the surface. It was literally energy that was in my body that needed to come out. It was negative energy that just needed to get the fuck out of me. And it did. I felt a little heavy after, and about 2 days later, I started coming back to life, let me tell you. And I felt great ever since. I feel amazing. I'm so grateful for that experience. I'm so glad that I went out there. I did that. I brought my fucking tripod. I took pictures, which you guys are going to see. I probably think I'm crazy, but I don't fucking care. And you know what I took away from this is I don't fucking care what anybody fucking thinks. Whether you're my friend, whether you're my family, whether you're my man, like whoever you are, you're either supporting me and that's great, or I'm cutting you off and that's it. I don't care what you think, because if you don't like what I'm doing, then you don't have to fucking be around it. And if I don't like what you're doing, I'm not going to be around it. I've stopped judging myself, and I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I'm not going to let other people's opinions be projected onto me on how I should live my life. You can like it, you can not like it, you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm not going to let that affect me anymore. I'm going to do whatever I want to do, however I want to do it. I'm never going to let anybody stop me, ever. And if you don't like it, that's okay. There's no reason for, there to be bad blood. I will always want the best for everyone out there, I think, and support anybody who's trying to be the best version of themselves. But at the same time, I can't take on the projections of other people's opinions. We all have had different lives. We've all had different experiences that shape our perspective and the way that we perceive things and our opinions and how we think people should live. And if is this corny, is that cheesy, or this person's that. We all talk about each other, right? And we give each other the ammunition through social media to talk about each other. And I don't fucking care anymore. I'm just gonna be me, which I've always been, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I don't care. I just don't care. I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to let you fucking judge me. You can judge me all day you want, all fucking day. And it's not going to affect me anymore. I'm never going to hold back on who I am. And that being said, my social media is going to be a little bit different. Not different in the sense of anything dramatic, but different in the sense of I'm going to really be selective of what I share with you guys. Excuse me. I don't think anybody has a right to know what I'm doing at every moment in time. You guys make assumptions about what I do anyway. So it doesn't really fucking matter, you know, whether I'm posting or not. You guys don't need to know that information. If I want to post it, I will, but I just don't feel like people, because I've shared so much of my personal journey and let people in and have been vulnerable, people now have an expectation that that's what I'm going to do, and they feel entitled to know what's going on in my life. No, I'm a very private person, and if you know me personally, I don't share a lot of like what really goes on in my life. I like to keep a lot private, especially with my emotions or things I'm going through. I don't really share too much with people. And the people that do know are a very select few. And even then, I still, you know, I'm very selective. There's nobody who knows everything about me. But I think as far as this whole pandemic and what's going on, you know, with America right now and the election and the Black Lives Matter, there's just been a lot of tension, and I'm sure it's caused issues like this with other people too. That was really kind of like the beginning point of the spiral. I'm sure a lot of you have had issues with judging yourselves or feeling like you're plugged in, or I don't know, there's self-esteem things or mental health things that people are going through, and it's not talked about enough. It's stigmatized, and people are supposed to be embarrassed by it or not talk about it and make it hush hush. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be honest with you guys and let you know, because I know there's somebody out there who's going to listen to this, even if it's one person and everyone else is making fun of me and like, oh, this fucking bitch, blah, blah, blah. Don't care. As long as I reach that one person and let them know, you know, I went through this, and if I went through it and I went through the other side and I'm okay and I'm better and stronger on the other side of things, that like you can get through it too. You just have to persevere and push through. You got to read your books. You got to do whatever therapies work best for you, but you got to put in the work. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in a rut for a long time. And you need to change certain things about your life in order to make yourself happy, because at the end of the day, you're born alone, you die alone. I live my life for me. I'm not here to make anybody happy except for myself. And what makes me happy is being around, you know, my family. Like my grandma makes me so happy. I haven't been able to hug her since February. I got to look at her through a fucking window. Like these things, like they can get you so down, but you have to learn how to not take that on physically, and it's really hard. And you got to do things that are self-care that maintain, you know, that homeostasis and that balance. So I just did a cleanse. I did a 3-week cleanse, which was pretty intense. I was taking 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills at night for 21 days. I also went vegan. I also went gluten-free, and I already don't eat meat. So it was intense. Oh, no alcohol, no weed, nothing. Like pure, it grew from the ground. I ate it, drank water, lemon water, and I just cleansed my whole body. And my peak in, I think, April, I was like 128. I would say by June, I was like 122. And right now I'm 110. So I dropped a lot of weight. But I'm going to gain some back. I always do. You guys know I fluctuate like crazy. And, I don't mind that, because I always bounce back one way or the other, whether I'm too skinny or too fat or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's basically what's been going on, what I went through. Again, I just wanted to be honest with you guys and let you know. If you guys have any similar experiences, feel free to write them in the comments or DM me personally if you want to talk about it. And thank you guys so much for your support. Coming back was a little nerve-wracking, especially, like I said, I did a risky video and you never know how people are going to react. I really wanted to come back with a bang, and I wanted to catch people's attention. I wanted to do something that was going to stick in people's heads and they're not going to forget about it in 3 months or 6 months. And if you guys are all going to talk about it, I'd rather you talk about what I'm doing positively. And, you know, maybe one day that'll come back to bring me a client and, you know, help me generate some money and help somebody, most importantly, in their journey, because that is something that I want to do, is focus on women who are pregnant, more importantly, who have just given birth and want to get their bodies back, want to get their nutrition going, want to get their new family, their young family started on healthy habits. Postpartum depression isn't spoken about enough, and there's not enough postpartum help. Women don't know where to go. A lot of women have issues breastfeeding and getting their babies to latch on, and are they doing it right? And you know, sometimes you have a vaginal birth and you have issues with your pelvic floor after. And I just want to be a resource for women. I've always been about women empowerment. I've always been about mental health. I've always been about being confident, and I think that I can really help a lot of women. So that's my goal in all this. It wasn't to hoodwink you or make anybody feel bad or offend anybody. It wasn't really a trick, even though like I did get a good laugh out of it. But I just hope you guys take some value away from what I've been doing. Next couple of days, I really want to focus on my friends that are so talented. I have so many amazing friends that are so talented. They've started businesses. They have something going for themselves. And I just want to encourage those kind of businesses and put the spotlight on them. These are all people that I have made purchases from, not people who have given me stuff for free for a post or anything like that. It's purely from the heart. I think these people are talented. I think they offer a beautiful service, quality service, and I hope you guys check them out. Thank you so much for allowing me to have this moment with you guys, and I hope to talk to you guys about it. All right, bye.